And that is right. Welcome, everyone, on into today's edition of Citywide Special, your place to hang out, talk some Philly sports, and be yourself. That's the most important part as well. It is Thursday, August 17th, and this is today's edition of Citywide Sports. Citywide Special. I want to welcome everyone in from Facebook. We got YouTube. We have Twitter. We are currently live on DSM Media. Thank you so much, everyone, for tuning on into today's edition of Citywide Special. A lot to talk about on this weird Thursday, right? Because Phillies are off again. I know we got 2 days off in the midst of this 2-game set that you had against Toronto. And for the Phils, it's rest time. It's time to take away the split. Not what we wanted. Probably a sweep is more than what we expected here in this week against the Toronto Blue Jays, but you're going to take the split. You're going to head into a series against the Washington Nationals this upcoming weekend, and we're going to discuss what took place there. We're obviously going to discuss the Birds. It is game day, if y'all couldn't tell. I decided to rock Kelly Green for this game day. Actually, for the first preseason game, I decided to wear my Frankfurt Yellow Jacket jersey. I still have my Darren Howard jersey, so I decided it was perfect timing to wear that one. So today I decided let's wear the Kelly Green. So got the Kelly Green, got my Asbury Provisions t-shirt. If you guys are not familiar with Asbury Provisions, great Philly sports bar over in Boulder, Colorado. If you're in Colorado, head on over to Boulder. It is Delco owned, Delco made, fantastic bar. And so I got this nice little Kelly Green t-shirt. We're rocking my Kelly Green dad hat. Where we at with our Kelly Green uniform? Kelly Green gear, ladies and gentlemen. Where we at with that? But happy game day to all. We'll talk about some of the camp stuff. We'll talk about Deshaun Watson being introduced to Elliott Shore Parks. That was freaking hilarious as well. Of course, we'll talk some more about the Union and anything you guys want to talk about with the Philadelphia Union as well. I know some people are still kind of, lingering thoughts about the MLS, not the MLS, the Leagues Cup that took place on Tuesday, the elimination game. So I know a lot of people are still wanting to talk about that. So we'll discuss that as well. We'll talk some Sixers. Whatever you guys want to talk about, welcome to Citywide Special. I appreciate it. Real quick, guys, if you guys have a quick second, I would really appreciate if you guys hit that like button, subscribe for more Philly sports, and then, of course, ladies and gentlemen, find us wherever you stream podcasts. What's up, Raynell? How you feeling, brother? What's going on? How are you feeling, man? It's good seeing you right now. It's good seeing you, man. Awesome stuff. What's up, TikTok? We got TikTok in the building here today. We just brought them on in here. What is going on? What's going on, TikTok? Hope you're having a great day. Welcome on a Citywide Special. Again, bring your comments, bring your questions, bring your concerns. Comment sections are open right now here on TikTok and here on YouTube today. We are discussing it all here at the top of this for sure. All right, guys, as we always do. What's up, Will? What's going on, man? What's up, Smoke? What's happening, guys? All right, so for today's Citywide Special, I decided to change things up, specifically for our special guest, which I'm actually having troubles right now with this bottle. This is not a one-hander. But, ladies and gentlemen, let's bring on in our special guest today, talking all things Philly sports with us today, discussing it with us from DSM Media as well. Please welcome on in Scotty Talk Sports. What's up, Scotty? What's going on, brother?
What's good, bruh? Happy to be here.
Happy here,
Thank you
man.
for
I like
having
it.
me. I know I missed out on what was that Tuesday? Scotty Talks
All
NBA
good,
went a
man.
little over with the top 10 shooting guards, so kind of missed out to enjoy some time here with you. But thanks for having me, man. I'm happy to be here, and we're twinning it up. We're
Yes,
twinning it up
sir.
with the Kelly Green caps.
It's Kelly
Get
Green.
it, man. I'm excited.
It's Kelly Green Thursday. It's all good, my man. It's all good. So, as we always start off with every citywide special, of course, as Scotty knows, our citywide special here in the city, we'll keep iterating throughout the week. Citywide special, if you guys are not familiar with it, it is a shot, it is a beer, it is at a set price. It is a great way to get lit on a bargain
Yes,
price. That's
sir.
what we do here. So today, because I have Scotty here, Scotty, if you don't know, is a big whiskey drinker. Now, I only have right now the big ass bottle from Costco. This is all I got.
Damn.
It's good stuff though. It's good stuff. This has lasted me a while actually. So we're just gonna do a little one here today, guys. But you know, because we got Scotty, our whiskey drinker here, we figure we do it. So today we're doing Kirkland's Tennessee whiskey. I think if I'm not mistaken, this is the closest thing to Jack. They if people are not familiar with Costco branded alcohol, it's pretty much the similar thing. No, that's actually something different. It's pretty much similar to something else that you probably have had before, but they're all great options. The Kirkland whiskey, the Kirkland tequila, the Kirkland vodka. It is all good. And then we're mixing it today. We're pairing it. We don't have beer today, but we got the little Topo Chico. Little Topo
Oh
Chico.
yeah, I've had one of
There's
those
one.
over at your crib before, so I know
Yeah.
that's good stuff. Yeah, hell
It's
yeah.
probably from when he was over. It's probably what happened.
Man, I'm not part of the Costco fam, so I'm not hip to the Costco alcohol, man. I'm
It's
part of the Sam's Club fam here up here in Philly with my girl, but
it's funny
that's
because I
interesting.
I bought this for the New Year's party, which you were at, because we had a lot of people over. So anytime we have like a big gathering, that's when we go to Costco because
Fair
it's
enough.
worth it. You get we got like a handle tequila, handle whiskey, a case of seltzers, like a little 12 pack of beer. It was like under $100, so it's definitely worth it if you got that
Can't
Costco
beat that.
membership and you want to
Yeah,
drive to Delaware because of course
cannot
Jersey
beat
and
that,
PA.
man.
You know how those liquor licenses. But salute to everyone. Salute today. Salute TikTok. Salute to everyone
Cheers.
here. Salute. Awesome stuff. All right. Scotty, what's going on, man? What's new with you, brother?
Man, just grinding it out, trying to get to the content. Hey, we got a big Eagles season approaching here.
That's right, man.
Obviously, Philly's in the middle of a little bit of a little bit of a downward spiral for the last few days. Got back on track last night, so trying to keep up with all the sports, man. Philadelphia Union as well. Obviously, a disappointing match in the League's Cup semifinal, but just keeping up with it all, man. And of course, you just can't seem to run away from the Sixers, right? Like you can't
Nah.
get away from those guys as much as you want to. So keeping us busy all around, and then of course work and getting ready for a wedding, man. Obviously
Feel
under a
that,
month
man.
away.
Yeah,
So the
man.
nerves are kicking in for that, which I'm sure I can't wait to see you and the rest of my friends and family there.
Yeah, man.
Should be
You're like in a
very
2 minute drill in your wedding planning.
yeah, yeah, it's coming down to closing time, man, and the nerves are kicking in on my side. Obviously, Alexis is handling some wedding stuff right now.
She's a boss, man.
He's up for the grind.
Yeah, dude. I feel you, man. It's so funny because like you think it's like it's just getting married, it's just saying simple words and that's it. But like, no, there's so much behind it that you don't even think about. And dude, they like the thing is like this wedding industry, they know that you gotta pay for this. So they will
Yeah,
put the price that they want on this, and it's like you either
absolutely.
pay it or you don't get it. It's like, well, I kind of need flowers, man. So some flowers. Yeah.
Absolutely, man. You know how it goes. Everything is hiked up. And it isn't just as simple as, saying I do. You got to get the vows ready. You got to get speeches ready. You got to make sure all your groomsmen, all of those guys are ready. So it's a task, but hey, that's what we're in life for, these commitments and these big moments. So I'm happy to be able to celebrate it here soon, but plenty of stuff going on in between now and then, nonetheless.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. Well, let's get going here today. As we always do, guys, let's get to the poll of the day. With in light being preseason game one, we're keeping it Eagles centric here. So, what are you most looking forward to tonight? Obviously, game two here. It is preseason, but there are things to kind of look forward to. The options today is more from the new running back room. A lot of new backs. If anyone hasn't watched the Undisrupted, I think it is, or Undisputed, it's a little docu series that they have on the Eagles YouTube channel for inside training camp stuff. They had one on the running back, so a lot of talk about the running backs right now.
Yeah.
Are you interested in the young D line domination? They looked good last week against the Ravens. Are you looking forward to that? And then two battles: the cornerback battle and the linebacker battle. So right now, in first place is the young defensive line domination. They are leading the way with 55.6% of the votes. Second place is the running back room with 22.2%. And tied for third is the cornerback and linebacker battles here. This is on my on my Twitter account, at Parcero Philly. You guys can participate, but we'll definitely talk about that here. So let's get into it. Obviously, Scotty, we have preseason game number 2. First one was a loss against the Ravens, but you saw some promising things. Jalen Carter really stood out. Penny and Swift also stood out as well. So I guess for you, man, a lot of camp battles, especially on the defensive side of the football. What has been intriguing you the most, man?
Yeah, that's an interesting post that you had there, a poll, I guess I would say. I think it's interesting the defensive line dominance part that people want to see and that people are excited to see. And mind you, I voted on the poll and I actually selected that one as well. But I was looking at it again when you had it up there, and I kind of changed my mind because the defensive line, while it'll be fun to see that if they dominate tonight again, right, and getting ready for the regular season, but we kind of know who are going to be the guys there on the defensive line, right? Like there's nobody that we're really looking to for any surprises. I mean, of course, we're excited to see Jalen Carter and Nolan Smith play, but these are young guys that were drafted in the first round. These are guys that we expect to be part of the rotation. So these aren't really guys on the bubble for me. So I'm going to switch my attention. I think what I'm really going to focus on tonight, honestly, is that DB room, man. The cornerbacks specifically are very interesting because you got so much talent there this year, all the way down to Eli Ricks. Josh Jobe has been getting a lot of talk. Zach McPherson, right? He's our special teams guy, and he's a backup for
Yeah.
Avonte Maddox in the slot. So there's a lot of different options. Mekhi Gardner, he showed some stuff in the last preseason game. So they actually have a plethora of options there. I don't know if they keep 7. Do they keep 6 only in the DB room, right? When it comes to cornerbacks, Greedy Williams is a guy that I'm looking at tonight as well. Is he on the
Yeah.
bubble with a guy like Eli Ricks gets a pick 6 in the first preseason game? Josh Jobe has been a guy that's been talked about all training camp. So Greedy Williams seems to look like a guy that's kind of out of the shuffle. So I'm looking there. The linebacking situation that you mentioned, that's interesting because you brought in the 2 new faces in Zach Cunningham and Miles Jack. And it seems like those guys are getting a lot of the reps that we're hearing about. They're making a lot of the disruptions that you like to hear from the linebacking core. So do they keep how many linebackers do they keep when you include guys like
Yeah.
Hassan Reddick and Nolan Smith in that conversation? So interested in those position battles, man. And I'm really looking at that defensive side of the ball altogether, right? Sidney Brown in the safety. He's an exciting guy that's been talking a lot of stuff that I like as well, man. So my eyes are all over the place. You could even go to the offense, of course, wide receivers, running backs down the line. But those are on the defensive side of the ball is where I'm looking today, man.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And real quick, on the Hassan Reddick stuff, obviously we got the news today, getting surgery on that thumb. He should be ready by week 1, but that's obviously good news. So you're probably not going to see him for the rest of training camp. And of course, Reddick, we've all heard the contract talks, whether he should be getting more money or not. We still got plenty of time on that deal, but obviously this year, Reddick looking to capitalize on his monster first year with the Birds.
Yeah.
You really brought up some good points. I also forgot to mention the safeties in that poll because the safeties to me intrigues me. I feel like the most out of all the positions, simply because like I really, really just don't have a pulse on what the 2 starters will be. And like you do have like it's honestly up for grabs right now who the 2 starting safeties will be. And so I think to me that'll be the fun position that I'm going to be looking forward to. But
Fair.
that competition at the cornerback position, obviously, like Slay and Bradbury are set in stone, and Maddox
Yeah.
too, right?
Yeah.
But after that, that's really where it does get interesting. And tonight we'll be able to see Josh Jobe look really good as
Yeah.
well. I think he got 2 picks yesterday in
Yeah.
practice. So I mean, this defense in general, there's a lot of question marks, but I think that the ceiling for this defense can be pretty high because of just the young, impactful players that you have here. And I think that's why people were voting for the
Yeah.
defensive line domination when they're seeing Jordan Davis and what he's doing. And when they see Jalen Carter drop to us, and he's already dominating right now on top of Hassan Reddick and BG and Sweat and all that stuff. So I think like right now, the excitement for defense, there's like an unknown factor about it, but because of what you see, I think people are really excited about it, man.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with you, and I get the excitement from the defensive line, because you can even go to guys like Derek Barnett, who you get back this year, right? See what he has left in the tank. Josh Sweat in another year, so you got guys on the defensive line. Milton Williams, a guy that's been really
Dude,
highly
slept
praised.
on, man.
Yeah, he's very slept on. I agree with that statement, man, and I think he's going to make when you look at the new guys in the system, Milton Williams isn't a new guy, but I think he can really solidify his name in this unit this season. Mind
Yeah,
you, you got great guys in front of him. There's no lack of talent in that department, but I think Milton Williams is a guy that will show that he is up there with those guys, right? Like he's not a guy to be forgotten about on this defensive line. So looking at that position as well, yeah, it's all exciting all around, right? Because you mentioned it, there are question marks, but they're filled with young talent, and I think that's a nice balance to have with the offense. Which the offense is going to be explosive,
yeah,
pretty much no matter what, barring injury, right? Regardless of the guys that are on the bubble at the end of those skill position that are battling it out tonight. But yeah, that defensive side of the ball, they're a question mark, but it's an exciting question mark.
and I think this seems like set up perfectly because I feel like there are going to be times this year because of the youth of this defense where you may find yourself in a couple shootouts,
Yeah,
and I mean we all trust this offense to survive those type of shootouts. So for
exactly.
now, like I think we're all okay with going through those growing pains because you know that the future is bright and that the talent on this defense is good. And Sean Desai as well. We talked about it on the show. Like Sean to me seems like a guy who's just not scared to try something new,
Yeah,
where we would kill JG because of that. And I think that
yeah,
that is where Sean may succeed past Jonathan Gannon, but it's
yeah.
it's gonna be
See
it's
what
gonna be
you
fun
got in
watching
these
defense,
guys.
man. Dude, how about Deshaun Watson finally he getting introduced to Elliott Shore Parks, man? Did you see that?
No, I did not see that, man. That's actually hilarious
So
after
I
their
had
interaction yesterday.
I had it here. So I mean, and for anyone who follows Elliott Shore Parks, his big thing and what he likes to do is he likes to tweet out the stats at practices for every player. For every player, it's
Yeah,
not just the
yeah,
birds. He'll always like tweet out stuff that the other team will do as well. And I thought I had it here. There was one tweet here where he puts out Deshaun Watson stats. And by the way, I know we're all like all in on the Eagles here in Philly, but like right now in Cleveland, like the clock is kind of ticking on Deshaun Watson here. They did give up a lot for
yeah,
Deshaun Watson. And so okay, I think this is it actually.
yeah, right there.
Yeah, there we go. So Deshaun Watson training camp stats versus the Eagles. Eagles defense definitely got the better of Watson during the joint practices. Watson had a few really nice throws at the times, beating good coverage with better throws. His arm definitely has the ability to make special throws. The pass rush definitely got the better of Watson, as he really was only effective in 7v7, not 11v11. The Eagles' pressure forced Watson into some bad decisions. In 2 days, they ended up picking him off as many as many times they allowed interceptions. Stats on day 2, 7 for 16, 3 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Overall in 2 days, 17 for 33, 3 touchdowns and 3 interceptions. I don't know if I'll find it here. I don't know if he deleted it because it would. I feel like here it is. Is
Yeah,
Deshaun
cap.
Watson actually he actually tweeted out LOL and cap, man. I mean, I find it interesting only because like when you talk to Sean Watson now, like it's kind of like an asterisk, right? Like
Yeah,
he's really special, but there was that incident that he had, right? And so
yeah,
it's kind of like the topic conversation is going to keep coming up. And this team has a lot of pressure on it because of what they gave up and they're not
Yeah.
that far removed from winning, the first playoff game since returning back to Cleveland. And so the pressure's high. You hear Thompson looking much better than Deshaun Watson, a fifth round pick. Dude, I mean, this is pretty hilarious, guy.
It
Watch,
is,
watch.
man. It is hilarious from our standpoint, which there was a lot of people in our fan base that were clamoring for the Eagles to trade for
Yo,
Deshaun
for real.
Watson, even with all the legality type of stuff that he was dealing with. Now, mind you, whatever you think of the results of his investigation, mind you, they ended up not arresting him. They ended up not, doing anything further to him. So it's interesting. He's going to always have an asterisk by his name. There's going to be people that just dislike him because of what his name is attached to, and I think that's more than fair. I actually fall into that crowd, just based on my respect for women. But all that aside, yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how long of a leash Deshaun Watson gets because they invested a lot into him. So does that get him a longer leash, even with all the backstory that comes along with him? Because if Deshaun Watson starts out this season poorly and the Browns are, 1-4, 0-5, or 1-5, whatever the case may be, 6 weeks, 7 weeks into the season, it's going to heat up a lot on Deshaun Watson. And anytime it heats up on him now, that stuff is going to be rehashed and re-brought up. And rightfully so, because it's going to follow him for the rest of his career. So he's going to be walking on eggshells when it comes to his performance. And mind you, he was you look at his stats back in 2021, I believe it was, and he was a top 5, top 6 quarterback in the NFL. So the talent is there. You just have to wonder how all the off the field stuff has affected not only his body physically, but his mind, right? Keeping his mind focused on football. That has to be hard for a guy that is going to get, he's going to get made fun of. There's going to be a lot of wild chants that are going to be screamed at him in stadiums. And it's not just going to go away. So it is interesting when you look at this. You look at Elliott Shore Park's tweets regarding the stats. It is interesting thinking about it and what Deshaun Watson, what does that look like this year, man? Because they're relying on him a lot.
It's fun because I was one of the people who said that I'm not touching Deshaun Watson because of what you just said.
Yeah,
I don't want that to be the leader of our franchise.
yeah,
I didn't want Russell Wilson just because I didn't want to give up the package, and Russ was coming off a bad year. And look how, I mean,
yeah.
still plenty of time,
You
but
were
look how
right.
that first year came out to be. And in that first year for Russell Wilson, Jalen Hurts has an MVP type season, and you're seeing
Yeah,
what's going on here, man. So it's everything happens for a reason. I always say that you didn't go out for Deshaun
absolutely.
Watson for a reason, and things are panning out. And Jalen is now being talked about, depending who you talk to, right? But there's top
Yeah,
5, top 3 conversations for Jalen Hurts, and sky's just the limit. Sign a Jordan, dude. Sign a Jordan deal, dude. I love that look.
yeah, man. I
Man.
love that for the face of the city, man. I
Oh
love
my
that. I love
god,
that.
dude.
It's just
And with
so like it's just Jordan Brand, it's a legendary brand. Now there's people that have their disputes with Nike as a whole, but Nike is my favorite brand, right? When it
right,
comes to sneakers, merchandise, anytime Nike makes the merchandise, I feel like it's usually better than the other brands in my opinion. So yeah, I'm excited to see what comes of that. If he gets any type of like clothing line with Jordan, if he gets his own cleats, right, or his own sneakers, even maybe it's his own style of a Jordan 1 classic type of sneaker. I'll be excited and I will purchase it if it's feasible. So that is awesome, man. He's a true superstar, right? Like he has like the branding that goes along with it. Where you look back to Carson Wentz, Carson Wentz just never really got all the brand deals, right? He wasn't a very good speaker, really, when it came to the public and media. So
he's gonna get that
Jalen
John
Hurts is
Deere
a
deal,
different
man.
breed, man. It's honestly a blessing.
Carson Wentz couldn't get that John Deere deal going, man. That was
Could have made some money with them, man. Some
it,
type of hunting brand or something, man. But he was faking on it. I don't know. Never came to fruition.
it's just wild because I feel like Carson did go through some type of adversity, like especially
He did.
North Dakota State. Like he went
Yeah.
through all those injuries, but I don't know. Once you get a taste of the millions, you're the city, the face of the city. They love you everywhere. You
Yeah.
get a little bit comfortable about that. But Jalen keeps even keel. Like he doesn't
Yeah.
forget about all those moments. He doesn't forget about the moments at Alabama. He doesn't forget about that first year in Philadelphia. He always keeps that chip on his shoulder. He always just keeps motivated, and that's
Yeah,
just the beauty of him. That's why I always just felt like if he could just get down the accuracy, can read the field a little bit quicker, dude, the
yeah.
sky's the limit for Jalen Hurts, and he's put in the
He's doing
work,
that.
and he's gonna
Yeah.
keep evolving this year too, man.
Yeah, I do think there's room for him to evolve, right? There's always talk about what being a mobile quarterback means for their health long
Right.
term. And we've seen it with Lamar Jackson even the last few years. He just hasn't been able to stay healthy. And so to that point, it's fun when your quarterback can ram into the pile and get into the end zone 13 times on the year, but you don't necessarily want to do that as his career progresses. You don't want to rely on that, even though the analytics may point to it. I do think they're going to rely a little bit less on him when it comes to in between the tackles and
Yeah.
getting him hit on the outside, those type of situations. So
Gotta
just
keep him
seeing him
healthy.
evolve and become more of a, he has all the weapons in the world, man. So when it comes to that, it's like it's nice having that option, and I think you need to do it enough to keep the defense accountable for it. But I just don't think you need to do it as much as you did last year. And hopefully it works out with the offense if they do decide to go that route.
Yeah, man. You saw the rush attempts in 21 was decreased in 22, man. So
Yeah,
from that time period, so
very fair. Yeah, it's true.
it's obviously a weapon, and we want to keep it like that. But yeah, if we can limit the runs and the hits, that's going to be the goal here. Where are you going to watch the game tonight, man?
Yeah, I'm gonna hit the gym after we get off of here. So get my
Nice.
fitness right, get my juices going right
Yes,
for the
sir.
game. We're gonna go grab some alcohol after we leave the gym and enjoy the game right here at the crib. I'm excited, man. I got my Kelly Green jersey, and I was like, man, do I break it out
Nice.
for the preseason? I'm
Would
not
you?
gonna
Would
do it yet. I'm not gonna do it yet. I'm gonna wait for the season opener to bring that one out. But I'm gonna throw a jersey on. I haven't decided which one yet. Maybe one of the classic ones.
Who'd you
But yeah,
get?
I'm
The Kelly
excited.
Green.
Oh, I got Hassan Reddick. Yeah,
Hey,
yeah, Camden's very own. Wanted to
let's
get a guy that
go.
I feel like's gonna be here. I feel like he should be the face of our defense right now. He's the best defensive player in my opinion. And he's a local guy. You got to support the local guys, man, when they make a
For
return
sure.
like he did last year. So I looked at it as a great opportunity to get a Reddick jersey and represent the edge rushers, man. I feel like I don't have a ton of edge rusher jerseys.
Yeah, see for myself. I always try to get now. If we have a franchise quarterback, that changes everything. But my closet, I have a bunch of tight ends, defensive ends. I only got one lineman jersey. That's because I just started getting into it, and
Yeah.
Lane Johnson was the best purchase I've ever gotten.
Oh,
The
nice. You got a Lane jersey?
Oh,
I would like
dude,
that.
I had to
Yeah,
get that.
I like
BG's the
that.
goal this year. I don't have a BG
I
jersey,
like that. Yeah.
but that's the
I
goal
need a
this year.
BG, man.
Have to, man. It's legend, Eagles legend, man.
Is
It's
that who
about
you're thinking for the Kelly Green?
probably
Yeah,
get the Kelly
that's
Green.
a good one.
Only player to wear Kelly Green twice in the last 10 years for the Eagles.
Fair enough. Yeah, fair
So
enough. An original bird too, man. Yeah, I like that. I like that. I need a BG jersey myself.
you got a Goddard, right?
I do have a
Yep.
Goddard. I thought about getting Goddard, but you just never know. And he has been injured over the last few years, so I didn't want to double invest in a Goddard jersey, even though he is one of my favorite players on the team. But I got the midnight green Goddard, midnight green Smitty, and then I got a white Hurts. So that's what I'm working with on the current roster. Hassan
That's good.
Reddick.
That's nice, man.
Yeah. So I got some coverage there, man.
So how big of a fan are you of the Kelly Green? Do you feel like this should be like the permanent look for a little bit, or should we stick with what we have right now in the midnight?
It's a tough question, man. Because I'm not one of those people that opposes the Kelly Green. I actually love the Kelly Green. I've been one of the people that's been on Twitter or X, claiming that the Kelly Green is one of the more matchable colors, right, compared to Midnight Green, in my opinion, when it comes to like sneakers, clothing,
Okay.
different types of stuff like that. So that's why I do like the Kelly Green, and it's just classic, right? It gives you the old school vibes. It's a little bit more simple than the Midnight Green, I feel. But I like having both. I like having both as an option. I think Midnight Green is where we've had more of our success, and it's definitely my era of Philadelphia Eagles football. So
Same.
I don't want to see like that. Midnight Green is a very unique color, and when you look at the Kelly Green, some of the Jets uniforms you could say look very similar to the Kelly Green. And so to that point, I like having the variability with the midnight green, having that as an option. I like the black as well. I would like
Yeah,
to just keep Kelly Green as like an alternate. I think it's a good option to have there 2 to 3, maybe even 4 times a year.
I agree with you, man. Tiffany, what's up, Tiffany? First off, I hope you're having a great day. Says no to Midnight Green, so we want the Kelly Green full time.
Yeah, per
And
se, that's my mom. If you didn't know, man.
hey, what's up, mom? How you doing? What's going on? I need to formally meet you, but
Yeah,
yes,
she's a Midnight Green girl, though.
I get it. I get it. I completely get it. I think I'm with you on the Midnight Green. Simply because of what the success we've had with it. There's nothing
Yeah,
wrong with it. Also, you know what I do? I what I love the most, believe it or not, about the Midnight Green is the font. The font, that's my
yeah,
favorite, and
I
I don't
feel
want to
you.
get rid of that.
I
So
feel you.
that's
Which
what
logo do you like more? Like the spread wings, or do you like just the eagle head?
that one's tough. I'm probably gonna have to go with the head because it
Yeah,
looks tough, man. This does look
yeah,
nice. Like, don't get me wrong, this does look nice.
yeah.
But I like the fierce look of the eagle head.
I
You know what I
feel
mean?
you. I feel you. I do agree there as well, man.
It'll be fun, man. We'll see, man. But Scotty, you are our NBA guy around these parts. I do want to talk about the Sixers here next up. We talked about it throughout the week. We got kind of Hat's opinion yesterday about it.
Yeah.
I mean, dude, it's an absolute shit show, man. What's your thoughts on what's going on this all season?
Man, I'm just confused, on everything that's transpired. There's been just a lot of misdirection that has been spewed through the media, starting back to Christmas, right? When James Harden had this article drop about him about his interest of going back to Houston. It started there. That's where the confusion came in, right? Where I'm just looking at the Sixers. They're in December. It's Christmas. We're getting ready for the second half of the year, getting close to the All-Star break, and starting to think about the playoffs. Yet we have to think about Harden's contract as we're going into the new year, and that was weird to me. Then it continues into this offseason, right? And you get to this point where James Harden is calling Daryl Morey a liar publicly, and I just have to ask myself, like, James Harden, you had the control in your hands. Like, the control was there for you. You can opt out and go into free agency. He had that option. So why did you allow the opportunity for Daryl Morey to lie to you? Why are you relying on somebody's word when it comes to business? And I just thought that was, something very immature of James to do out in China. I thought, it's great for headlines, it's great for publicity, but not for the Sixers, right? When it comes to that perspective. And it's kind of damning to Daryl Morey, man. Whether you believe that he lied to Harden or not, when a player comes out and says this, who has ties to players around the league, right? Players around the NBA, it's damning, and it makes the Sixers and it makes Daryl Morey, it makes them look bad, regardless of if it's true or not. As soon as he puts that out into the headlines, so to that point, I'm really just tired of it. I'm tired of the drama. It's like sickening that we have to go through what we went through with Ben Simmons, right? After we supported him the way we supported him. Now we have to go through it with James Harden, where now you have these Harden stands online that will like point it back at us saying that we like turned on Harden. No, Harden turned on us when he started these smoke screens with the interest from elsewhere and the interest of him returning to Houston or going elsewhere. And to that point, it just all feels very delusional from Harden's standpoint. Like, if you wanted a max contract, if you think you're worth that, why didn't you enter free agency? Like, it just doesn't make sense, man. And to that point, I'm obviously worried about what Embiid is feeling. You have the smoke signals from him via Twitter. It's just a real shit show when it comes to the Sixers. And it's annoying that it's like dragging, attention away from the rest of the city, right? When it comes to the Union, who are doing very well right now, when it comes to the Phillies, who are at the top of the wild card seating when it comes to postseason play in the MLB, they're playing well. And then, of course, the Eagles season coming up here soon. It's really just distasteful for me to have to divulge attention to that team for this type of information, this type of media and publicity. It's just bad for the organization, and it shows what's going wrong all throughout it. Right? There's blame that can go in each and every direction in this organization. Probably starts at the top with ownership, man.
That is a good point. What's up, Marshall? What's going on, man? Harden's taste in teams exactly Michelin star.
Yeah, it's
Let's
so
go.
weird. He wants, like, do you want to compete for a championship or not? Like, do the Clippers, like, he came out of last season, with the statement that he wanted more involvement in running the offense and the offense being centered around him. Going to the Clippers isn't going to do that for you. They have Paul George and Kawhi Leonard. Those guys are going to be offensive options before James Harden is. So I just don't understand the motivation. I don't understand this guy at all, man.
Yeah, you know what it is here with Harden is that like Harden wants everything to go in Harden's way. He's being a little
Yeah.
bit of a spoiled brat in the situation.
Yeah.
I've talked about this before. So Harden's his demeanor and the reason why he feels the way he does towards Daryl Morey last year when Harden signed that deal, the year deal with the option for the second year, he was told by Morey that if he signs his deal, he would take care of him the following year. Just for this one, he needed to sign that one so that the Sixers could open money to sign other players and yada, yada, yada.
Yeah.
So when this year, we going into the option part of it, the deal, and Harden's looking at the Sixers and waiting for them to throw 40-some million dollars a year at him for 5 years, and they're not doing that. Harden's at that point he's going, well, why you told me last year you were going to pay me now?
Yeah.
But if you look at it in a business aspect, why would the Sixers tie themselves up to a bad contract to a player? I mean, let's face it, he did have a good year last year. I mean, he led the NBA in assists, and he did help us get back to the second round, something we've already done before he's been here. He did have a solid year, but if anyone's going to sit here and tell me that he's worth over 40 million, worth over 30 million, I mean, I'm sorry, but you're crazy. He's not. To me, he's in the $20 million range. 20 to 25, like that, around that range is where that's where I believe he's at.
Yeah.
So Harden's just a little bit naive. And then now so to your point, free agency. So he looked around the NBA. Those Houston rumors, I believe 100%.
Yeah.
But even Houston, the team that pretty much made him, they even said, we're good. They gave the money to Van Vliet.
Yep.
And so that should be the writing on the wall to Harden that you're not the hot shit no more. People still want you, yes, but not at the price that you believe that you're worth. And you know why he wants to go to the Clippers? Because yes, he still wants to win. But just like what happened this past year, when the Sixers lost, who got majority of the blame? Harden and Embiid.
Yeah.
Harden hated that because in his eyes, he gave it his all. Which maybe the talent around Harden and Embiid wasn't enough to beat the likes of the Boston Celtics. But I'll tell you this. The core of the Boston Celtics was and still is better than what the core is of the Philadelphia 76ers. And that's the big reason why you lost in 7 games. Overall, Boston was the better team.
Yeah.
So now James is like, well, I want to go to LA. I want to live a nice life. I want to continue my brand. Yeah. Look, that's why he's in China right now. He's advocating his brand. So he wants to go to LA, wants to go play with the Clippers. He wants to hide behind Paul George and Reggie Jackson and Tyronn Lue and all those guys. He just wants to play ball and play the way he wants to. And this is why, like, Scotty, I'm so fed up with the Sixers.
Yeah.
Because like a lot of us, I stuck with this team since that Jrue Holiday trade on draft night. I said, all right, we'll see where this goes. Where most people are freaking out, and still to this day we're not for that. I stuck with this team, and for us to go through all these freaking, I'm done, dude. I'm honestly like, when I heard James Harden come out with those comments about that, I literally laughed my ass off because I'm numb and I'm just fed up with the situation, bro.
Yeah, and it's the drama didn't just start with Ben Simmons, 2 years ago, right? Like, it didn't start there, right? The drama started with all the bad decisions that were made leading up to that. Regardless of the situation with Markelle Fultz and Jason Tatum, you gave the Boston Celtics an extra first-round pick to take the guy that they wanted. Yeah. So that was one of the first mistakes, regardless of how you feel about Markelle versus Jason Tatum at the time. Then you go on, you draft the right guy in Mikal Bridges. You drafted him, and you trade him for Zion Smith. Like, I'll never understand that. It is a slap in the face to his mother that worked for the organization. We will never, ever understand that. And it's hard to imagine ever having a chance at ever getting that homegrown guy back in your city again, right? He's disgruntled about it. He still talks about it every day on
Yeah.
every podcast that he goes on, man. So it shows you how mad he was. And then you just get to the Jimmy Butler situation, paying Tobias the max contract, so on and so forth. We've been through it so many times. We've talked about it so many times, but
Colangelo burner account, dude.
the Colangelo burner account, man. Like, come on. Like, we have gone through so much and it just won't stop to the point where we get outed in the second round again, right? We take Boston to the 7 games and get outed in the second round, and we can't just chill this offseason. We can't just be, teased by other fan bases, teased by the Denver Nuggets fan base for Jokic winning the championship. It can't stop there. We have to have James Harden in China calling our GM a liar, our president of basketball a liar. And to Marshawn Lynch's point there, he says China deserves to see him play, man. I feel like that's where he's headed. Like, he's headed out of the NBA with his diva status.
Did you hear Perkins' comments,
with, man? Did hear whose?
Kendrick Perkins' comments.
Yeah, that's exactly who I'm kind of referencing here. His tweet that he put out earlier today, which got a lot of negative feedback. Everybody's calling Perk crazy, but look around the NBA. Who's knocking on the Sixers' door? Who's ringing the phone up, calling Daryl Morey, offering a plausible, a feasible return for James Harden, who actually want him? If the Clippers wanted him, they could get him for the right price, and they won't do it. They won't even offer Terrence Mann, a guy that averaged 10 points last year. Like, this is where his value is at. Yet he's in China calling Daryl Morey a liar, acting like Daryl Morey's crazy for not paying him a max contract. Like, nobody is. Nobody wants to do that.
And now PJ Tucker's backing him up too. Like,
oh my God. And the thing with PJ Tucker, it's like, dude, you're backing James Harden, but Daryl Morey gave you that overpriced contract. He guaranteed those funds for you. So, like, you're going to throw shade at Daryl Morey. I don't know why you would do that, but he's more than welcome to leave. I mean, was he that much of a difference maker that year? We ended up in the same spot.
Yeah.
So, if he wants to act like that, he's a guy, something totally off base with Harden and PJ Tucker. No wives, no kids, just partying all the time, man. Party animals. I actually commend them for that lifestyle because I'm turning 30 this year, bro, and I get hungover for days after a night out. So for Harden and PJ to be, traveling around the world, drinking, being with girls all the time, different clubs and stuff, kudos to them because they got the tolerance of a champion. But I don't understand those guys at all from like a personal standpoint or a basketball standpoint.
You know what it is that we ain't got money to be drinking top shelf shit, bro.
right. That stuff brings us down. They're drinking the best stuff possible. Yeah. So you are right there. You're right.
My only issue with keeping Morey is that Harden mess signals to Joel and others. Here's the thing: there used to be this notion, this mindset in all sports. If you don't win a championship, everyone's job is on the line. Like, and all of a sudden now, like, that's gone out the door. Now, if you're producing, you're putting up stats, you should be safe. Like, no, I don't understand where that notion kind of changed.
I agree with that.
But like, dude, we failed. I'm sorry, but last year we failed. Yeah, no one's job it was safe. And so, if these guys are having a tough job understanding that, I mean, we have a bigger problem on our hands, man.
Where are you at with Joel Embiid, man?
I mean, whatever the big man wants to do. I can't even blame Joe. I mean, think about it. We've been through a lot of shit. I mean, Joel's been through so much shit, bro. Like the injuries coming into the league. And then, he suffers the playoff loss to Boston and to Toronto the following year. The year they get swept in the bubble. The Ben Simmons shit. Now James Harden. Yeah. Like, he's really been like, I don't even blame him for feeling the way he does. If he wants out, like, I can't say like, Joel, what's wrong with you? Like, no, like, we've done this to ourselves. I'm at the point now where, like, the thing is too, Morey put us in a bad spot where we don't even have a first round pick for 2 years, bro. So, like, for an example, if you wanted to blow it up this year, you're gonna have to go full Brooklyn Nets. You're gonna just have to develop guys, G leaguers, and then just suck for 2 years, and so it's just not a lot of fun, man.
Yeah, I actually agree with what Marshawn Lynch said there. Like, I agree with what you said as well. Like, whatever Joel wants. Like, I'm not going to sit here and pin him to the cross. Now, I'm not one of those guys that is going to support him no matter where he goes, right? I'm a Philly guy through and through. So that's not going to happen if he goes to the Miami Heat and plays with Jimmy, or if he goes to, wherever he would end up, whether that's on a rival or not. But he deserves a chance, right? A fair chance outside of a drama-filled organization. I think that's more than fair to say. It's annoying, the smoke signals, man, that he sends on social media, the different things that he says, the trolling. He's an interesting character, but yeah, I think
He is,
he's
man.
earned the right to do what he wants at this point.
For sure, man. E Money Bentley, what's going on, man? We need a lot of females to talk about that. I think there's a good amount of females in the media, man. I don't
Yeah.
know who exactly you're looking for, but we got plenty. We
Can
think we
always
got,
use more, but I mean,
yeah,
yeah, I think we got some very talented females that cover the birds for sure.
absolutely. Furkan gets 5 mil sit on the bench, and he wanted dude.
That shows you what type of train wreck we're discussing here, right? When Furkan Korkmaz,
Requesting
has requested and demanded a trade like 3 to 4 times.
dude, trade him to like Detroit or something. Let's get a nice little wing piece that can help us out here, man. Anything
Oh,
else?
man,
And
I agree.
Arden repeated it, said it twice. Said it twice. Yeah,
It's
literally.
damning, man. It's damning for Maury. I do agree. It does cause concern when it comes to trust. Like, the goal now, it feels like, is, get through this Harden situation, get through Tobias's last year of his contract, and you have the 2 max slots next offseason. But
Yes, is
if
right there.
nobody trusts your president of basketball, yeah, exactly. Who would it even be? Pascal Siakam? Are we giving him that 5 year supermax? Like, no, I'm not with that. Like, I'm not with giving another bad contract that doesn't fit the squad. But 35-year-old Klay Thompson, maybe. I have no clue. And who's
You know
really
the
going to trust Daryl Morey in the first
you know what the
place?
problem is too. Like if we were to do a rebuild, I actually think we have the perfect coach for it. But
We do.
I don't even know if he would even get that shot with what's about to happen in the next couple of years. But
Yeah, like if he's a one and done, if they do blow this thing up.
I know,
Because
man.
maybe he's in this frame of mind where, I've won a championship. I've tried to develop guys in Toronto. I don't need to go through this type of rebuild again. I need to be with a contender that has a chance at a championship this season. So I could understand that perspective from Nurse. It just sucks because it feels like we finally got the right coach in here, man. Like, to develop talent and get the most out of this roster. And of course, it comes with all this dysfunction.
That's so Sixers. Literally.
Never fails, man.
Dude, those passports are wild, bro.
Yeah, they're tagged up, boy. I tell you, it was crazy, man. And I saw Joel was like trying to talk to James, try to get him to come back and play for the Sixers. It's like, bro, Joel, stop friending this man up, because this man didn't even come to your wedding. He was down in what, Miami or Houston, eating burgers and partying with strippers. Like,
Point,
this
dude.
dude's
Yo, first off,
priorities
I
are out
was
of this world.
I was wondering what happened to Bun B, and he's out here fucking
Giving
eating
burgers
burgers.
to Harden and PJ, man.
Oh wow, there's Bun B. Now I figure that out here, man.
That's a good promotion for Bun B, though. I didn't know he was like giving out burgers these days. But Bun B, I mean, that fits a burger for sure.
Martian things, Pascal and Clyde, dude. I don't, dude. Yeah, man. I'm I'm gonna be all in on the blowing it up if we
They're
don't
gonna
do
re-sign
anything.
Tobias, I'm sure.
Oh yeah, yeah. Just let the man free. Let him free. Now, listen, there's not many 6'10" power forwards that can shoot, run, and
Oh,
defend the top. All right, Tobias. Whatever you say, brother. Whatever you say.
oh man.
All right, real quick here. I want to move forward to let's move forward to the Phils real quick here, man.
Yeah,
So we get the win yesterday, bounce back. 3-game losing streak was unacceptable. But like they're kind of like in that shaky ground, and the script seems very familiar to last year, where they struggle going it down the stretch, and then obviously we saw what happened in October last year.
yeah,
But come off the 3-game losing streak, there are concerns. Obviously, the lineup's not raking as they should. Finally, they woke up last night, excuse me, in Toronto.
yeah.
Bullpen obviously is a concern because you got guys in and out. Jose Alvarado, from what I hear, he is down in Lehigh Valley. He should be returning back. He's beginning rehab assignment.
Need him
But
back. So
how concerned are you with the Phils going forward?
I'm not super concerned. I mean, they've been playing good baseball up until this 3 to 5 game stretch that they've had of late. Of course, you want to come away with the sweep against the Blue Jays. You do, right? You only get 2 games against them in this series. You want to come away with that split or that series rather than the split. But it was good to see the bats awaken last night again. Able to put 9 runs on the board. Still got concerns with Nola, right? 5 innings pitched, 4 runs given up. Can't make it out of the 5th inning. I mean, that's a problem, right? But nonetheless, they persevered. They were able to get the W last night with the power from their bats. Bryce Harper specifically cranked 2 home runs last night, and it's good to see him back. Right, he had the back spasms that he was dealing with, so it's good to see him come back with his power. But I like where the Phillies are at. They just have to build some consistent momentum here going forward, and I think as you look at the rest of August, it's going to be a big rest of August. You got the Washington Nationals that you're taking on in the next series, but right after that is a series that you can really take control of that number 1 wild card spot over the San Francisco Giants. You get a series with them, and I do believe it's actually in Philadelphia. So there's some important games coming
It
up when it
is. It
comes
is.
to seeding. But you do want to see, I agree with Marshawn Lynch there. It feels like our kryptonite on offense is solid pitching. It always feels like there's no balance to it where you have, the pitching staff is going to work, you're not giving up a ton of runs, but then the bats are asleep, right? And it's a close, 2-1 game or 2-1 outing. It never feels like the pitchers are on the same page as the batting, and you got to get that going in balance going forward. So you know what you have. So you have some consistency there. So I like what I've seen throughout the rest of the month outside of this 5 game spurt here, but I'm not super concerned. We don't have too many major injuries. I think when you get to the postseason, specifically with your pitching rotation in the bullpen, there's guys in the starting rotation, depending whichever way you want to go, whether it's Taiwan Walker, I'm forgetting his name, Michael Lorenzen, like whether it's
Yeah.
one of those guys, Ranger Suarez that you want to put down, Christian Sanchez. If those are the guys that you want to move to the bullpen, you're going to have some help coming from that starting rotation. So I'm not super worried. They just need to continue to weather this storm and try to get everything on the same page.
Yeah, I agree with you. Again, track record does help this team out, and the
Yeah.
bats problem has always been like these guys were built for power. And
Yeah.
when the power is not there, you're just swinging. You're swinging for the fences. And this again, the same thing did happen last year, and they found that magic where not only were they hitting for power, but they
Yeah.
were also raking. They were bringing in runs, and that's like the
Yeah.
main problem this year. Like their record of with runners in scoring position is
Disgusting.
god awful.
Yeah.
And it's like, dude, how do you have some of the bats that you have in this lineup that it can't even bring in runs?
Yeah.
Uh, Bryce Harper getting a homer definitely helped his because he was a little bit on a slide there. What
Yeah.
a fucking powerful home run, that 412 feet homer he hit yesterday.
Yeah.
So obviously you got the power. So I think that once you get closer to the time, you got guys who are built for this moment. And the rotation this year, I think it's better than last year.
Yeah.
Nolan is obviously still a concern. Wheeler's finding his place. And you mentioned Suarez, Taiwan Walker, and Michael Lorenzen have had great moments throughout the season. And obviously Lorenzen just started. He's having a dream start in
Yeah.
Philadelphia.
It's
He's
actually
the lead.
insane. Gotta
So
love that.
I definitely agree. I mean, so the one thing that everyone keeps talking about is Topper and his
Yeah.
decision making.
Yeah.
Look, he got lucky last year with a lot of his decisions. Well, let's be honest with you, with
Yeah.
one another. So this year, we'll see if that luck does continue here. But obviously, this team it has what it takes. We've seen him do it before. The NL doesn't concern me too much, if I'm being
Yeah.
honest with you. So the sky's the limit once they do get there, man. Similar
Yeah.
to 3 of World Series last year, bats were lights out. Then Game 4, we don't even score a run. Don't even bring up Game 4,
Consistency.
man.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. You need consistency from game to game, and that comes with balance as well, right? Between batting and pitching. So that's what I'm looking for going forward. But yeah, when it comes to the NL, man, I mean the good thing about the inconsistency of late is that the Phillies are in pretty good position anyways, given the inconsistency from other teams. So they still hold that number one wild card spot, which is the big thing here, and taking care of that. But yeah, I'm not going to sit here and fret about the Phillies when you still have room for Bryce Harper to grow within this season to get better, right? Trey Turner, I still believe, has room to grow and get better, even though he has been playing better of late. Castellanos has looked like he's getting back to his form from before the All-Star break, so that looks
Right.
good. Stott and Bohm, they've been doing their thing all season. They've been probably two of the most consistent guys on the roster. And then you get to what? Kyle Schwarber. This guy, it can't get worse. Am I able to say that? It can't get worse than what it is right now. But he is a guy, once it gets to postseason, if you can keep him healthy, keep him around, he can crank one at any time. So he's still valuable. And then JT, of course, I feel like he has room to get going here as well. So it's about getting guys going consistently, but then also who are those guys like Jake Cave last night that are going to fill in the blanks, like Rojas, right? Guys that can just make plays in these little niche spots. That's going to be very, very important down the stretch as well. Just figuring out who's going to be in that lineup day to day once you get to the postseason.
Yeah, outfield should get some reinforcements as well. Brandon Marsh should be coming back soon, and Christian Pache also started a rehab assignment down in Lehigh Valley, so we'll be getting some reinforcements there. Last topic before we head out here, Scott. I was curious about your thoughts on Tuesday night in Subaru Park. You've been getting into soccer, man. I'm loving your love for the Prem and just soccer in general. You're getting in the Union as well.
Yeah.
What are your kind of takes? What did you see on Tuesday night? You're from your point of view.
Yeah, it looked like a team to me that was starstruck, and I think you've seen teams do that throughout this Messi tour, from him coming to America in the first place. But it just felt like they kind of overdid the physical play, right? You had 15 fouls, I think, to Miami's 4, I believe. So you try to come out, you try to play physical, but I feel like they almost overthought it in a sense. There's too much attention paid to Messi, to Busquets. So I think maybe in the second matchup, hopefully when they get a rematch down the line, they can eliminate all of that starstruck, just watching type of mentality. Because you look at the game, man, there was opportunities there. The Union just couldn't capitalize on them. You look at the totals here, 16 shots, only 4 on target. You had the same amount of shots on target as the Inter Miami. So the opportunities were there. They just didn't capitalize, and they obviously weren't playing at their best. So there is a half glass full or half glass empty that you can look at in this situation when you're looking for positives for the Union. But it was a disappointing performance, to say the least. When you're in the semifinals of the Leagues Cup, you really want to make your statement as one of the best teams in the MLS. You go out there and you beat this Inter Miami team that's on this like world Messi tour right now. You shut that down. They weren't able to do that, but you hope if that game arises down the line, if it's a big game down the line, that they're able to take care of business and at least not look the way they did, right? You can lose. You can have Messi score a goal on you. You can have him score a magical goal on you. He can show all his talent in the world, but you just don't want them to walk all over you. And that was my problem with the game. And that's what told me that the Philadelphia Union, the real Philadelphia Union, didn't show up to that match.
So I put this tweet out here today. I checked out Kevin Kincaid's article. By the way, he's probably one of the best covering the Union through Crossing Broad. So I was reading his article, and something I was kind of saying in my head sitting on the sidelines on Tuesday night. It's just clearly evident here. So like in this passage, Kevin talks about some of the big matches his team has played in, and like, dude, we're talking about playing in the Azteca, which I know was during COVID, so you don't really have a full Azteca. You didn't have 80,000 in there, but that's still like an intimidating place to play. Yeah. They hung tight with Club America. We've seen them play one of the best MLS match of all time in the MLS Cup last year. Yeah. They've played in so many big games. They have been one of the most successful teams of the past couple of years. It is like the Leagues Cup. You want to win it because there's incentives in it. There's a trophy. Yeah. There's a lot of money. There's a Champions League spot on the line as well. So you definitely wanted to win it. It wasn't a priority, but you definitely wanted to win it.
Yeah.
Thing is that on Tuesday night, what you saw was not Union soccer.
Yeah.
They made mistakes that I rarely ever see this team make. And although, Messi, I'm not taking anything away from Messi in Miami, but like after I read that, I go on Instagram and these are the pictures I find. So I saw Jesus Bueno posting a picture with Messi.
Yeah.
Daniel Gazak posts a picture with Messi. El Brujo Martinez posts a picture with Messi.
Yeah.
And so you clearly can see there, these guys were just starstruck. And
Yeah.
like, I get it. First time up, you see him, I get it, man. This is the GOAT of all GOATs, man. I'm sure
Yeah.
when Michael Jordan was suiting up with the Wizards back in the 2000s, there was players that were just like an all seeing Michael Jordan out there on
For
the same.
sure.
But that next time cannot happen.
Yeah.
And the problem is right now that this team last night or Tuesday night was deemed a big game because of how hyped it was, people showing up.
Yeah.
It was an opportunity with so many eyes on the Union
Yeah.
to show what Union soccer was, and they put
Yeah.
up that fat dud. And so that's what the disappointing part about it was. So
I agree with that, man. I
want to see
do. I do.
want to see them bounce back. Want to see them go forward. Saturday, we just got word from Monterrey. So Monterrey is coming to Chester to play the Union for third place.
For third
It's an
place.
important game because the third place winner does get a Champions League spot.
Champions League. Gotcha.
Monterrey already said they're not putting out their starters. They've done a lot of traveling. The Mexican teams have not played in Mexico. So Monterrey literally is going from LA to Nashville,
My
all over
goodness.
the goddamn country, not
Yeah.
going back to Mexico at all. So they're putting in their reserve squad. So the Union have an opportunity here to win their third place spot. But you're gearing up here for the playoffs. And I'll be honest with you, man, with the way this team has been looking, this is it for this team, man.
Yeah.
If they do not win the MLS Cup this year, there's going to be a lot of angry fans just ready to fucking give it all to Jay Sugarman
Yeah.
because Jay, the owner of the Union, has done a good job of putting together a good team finally, but he still does not want to spend money.
Yeah.
And it is clear in today's MLS, if you want to
Got
win, and
to.
Alejandro Bedoya, our captain, said it. If you want to win in this league, you got to start spending money.
Yeah.
And that's what's going to have to happen, man.
Yeah, it's as simple as that, man. You want to be up there with the LAs of the world, the Miamis of the world. You're going to have to start spending money. And as you start to see these international stars, whether they're washed or not, in your opinion, whatever the case may be, I know there was rumors of Antoine Griezmann out there, right? I saw that. So like, it doesn't matter. You're going to have to spend some money in order to stay in a competitive fashion with these other clubs in the United States. MLS is growing, man. It's a good and a bad thing. It's only a bad thing if the Philadelphia Union's owner doesn't open up those pockets, right? So they got to come together and get that started and start to move this train forward. But
MLS is just like,
do you look at it like this with the Inter Miami situation? Because I looked at the standings in the MLS and I saw Miami's closer to the bottom. Obviously, Union, I believe they're third, closer to the top there. And when you look at that, are you happy that you get that game out of the way in the Leagues Cup rather than MLS? Sure. Like, wouldn't you rather have that rematch in the MLS season, or how do you view that? I'm curious there.
For sure. That I would much rather get this out of the way now than come playoff time if Messi has to come back here than having to deal with that again. Leagues Cup, like I said, it was cool to win, but I wasn't gonna cry over being bounced out of it. Yeah. I was upset at the way they lost because again, that was uncharacteristic of that team.
Yeah.
And so it is kind of what it is, and this is kind of what we've been striving for we did a good job the last 5 years of steering away from this type of notion, because the last 5 years this league has been building with young talent. I mean, you saw what Philly did, selling all these players who are contributing for the U.S. men's national team now. Yeah. And getting Messi is not like what's going on in Saudi Arabia. Getting Messi. Yeah. Any league would take Messi. The Premier League would take Messi right now. Yeah. Messi is still a GOAT. Messi still can do it. Messi just won a World Cup. That should just tell you everything right there. Yeah. But there is no doubt that we've been building through the youth over the past couple of years, but our popularity hasn't really grown that much throughout the country. Yeah. But now that you get Messi, you see the popularity grow like crazy. Yeah. Fortunately, in this country, we love star players, right? Yep. And unfortunately, the best players don't play in the MLS. You know,
Yeah.
they play in the Premier League or La Liga, right? So it's something that we're trying to strive for, man. But Scotty, the MLS is like every other league in this country.
Yeah.
You go through your ebbs and flow. Like, in the NFL, 2000s, you had running backs carry the ball 30 times. Now
Yeah.
running backs have to,
Style.
yeah, you got to block, you got to catch. Things are always changing. Things are always evolving. And now
As
in
they
the
should.
MLS, you got to have that balance. You got to have the balance. You got to find those good young players, and you got to add those pieces that do make a difference. I mean, you saw LAFC last year coming off the bench for the Union was Chris Donovan. Coming off the bench for LAFC was Gareth Bale. You see
Yeah.
the parity. So,
Yeah, exactly. No, I feel you, man. And you look at it's happening all around the world for football or soccer, whichever you wanna call it there, depending on where you're from. But it's happening all over the world. Things are changing. You look at the Saudi situation that's going on there. They're taking all of these retirement home-esque players. I mean, some of them of late have actually been really good players that are still got some quality to their game left. So things are changing around the world, man. And players are starting to be drawn out of those big 4 or 5 leagues over there in Europe. You're starting to see some variety, right, of where players are choosing to go. So it's good and bad in different situations depending on what it is. But overall, I think it is good for the sport, and especially for the sport in America.
absolutely, man. Absolutely. All right, guys, it's going to do it for another edition of Citywide Special. I want to give a big shout out and a big thank you to our guest here today, Scotty. I appreciate you, my man. I appreciate it. Plug away,
Absolutely.
Scotty. Where can people find you, man?
Yes, sir. So just like we're streaming right here on the DSM Media Philadelphia channel, we have 2 other channels associated with DSM Media. That's going to be the NFL Turf Talk channel, which airs every Thursday. So you can find those episodes out now. And then, of course, Scotty Talks NBA. That's where all the NBA content of mine will be found on YouTube. So just hit that subscribe button if you like the NBA or if you like the NFL. Or if you just like Philly sports, you can hit the subscribe button on any of those 3 channels. But thank you for having me, man. And I
Yes,
look
sir, man.
forward to coming back anytime you need me,
Yeah,
brother.
man. Yeah, we'll definitely have you on. And once Dylan comes back from his escapade out in Ocean City, we'll definitely have Dylan on here. Miss that, man. I
Yes,
miss that,
sir.
man.
Yes, sir.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for watching. Make sure you guys hit that like button, subscribe for more. Until next time, that is Scotty. Of course, I go by the name of El Parcero Philly. And you guys enjoy the rest of your day.